I don't know if it's a coping mechanism or if it's a way of connection or a combination, but for me, humor and keeping things light is just like my reflex go-to. I think in hard and really really traumatic areas in my life, or whatever word you want to use, even in those moments, if you obviously you're not going to crack a joke in the moment, but if you can just keep a little lightheartedness, like, well, I'm going to look back on this and laugh at the fact that I spilled ketchup on my pants while this horrible thing was happening, or whatever it is. If you can find some sliver of humor, to me it's hope.
Welcome back to Through Their Stride. I'm your host, Samuel Sutton, and today I'm joined by Gabby Hentemann. Gabby made waves last fall when she qualified for the U.S. Olympic trials at the Indianapolis Monumental Marathon, her first ever marathon, and she ran it alongside her friend Alyssa McElheney, where they finished hand in hand together, 4th and 5th place respectively. A former standout from Oklahoma State, Gabby has carved her own path in the distance running scene, both as a competitor and as a person. She's open about the challenges she faced in college, including her recovery from an eating disorder, and she's learned to approach running and life with a refreshing motto: it's not that serious. Gabby brings an energy that reminds us all to find joy and humor in the grind, and I'm excited to dive into her story today. So without further ado, let's welcome Gabby to the show. Welcome back to Through Their Stride. I'm your host, Sam Sutton, and today I'm joined by Gabby Hentemann. So Gabby, welcome to the show. And I love the confetti on the back of your wall. I've seen that in a lot of podcasts, and it's like my favorite thing.
Thank you. I know I always sit in the same spot, and same thing on my Zoom calls for work. Sometimes people are like, I can tell you're at home because I can see the confetti.
That's funny. What inspired that? Are you just kind of like a confetti style person, or?
It was supposed to be like a mosaic wall, but I just spread it out more, and it feels very whimsical.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I need to do something like with some sort of cool background. Fun background on mine, because I just have my living room, but yeah, that'd be fun. So Gabby, so you are a Olympic trials qualifier in your very first marathon, is that correct?
Yes, yeah. In November, I ran the Monumental Marathon and hit the OTQ right off the bat. So that was really exciting.
Yeah. So and you ran that with somebody, with Alyssa and McElheney, right? Is that how you say her last name?
Yes, McElheney. I'm still slightly unsure, but thankfully now that she's like world champion in high rocks or whatever, we don't have to worry about it. So
Yeah, I saw that. I saw because I looked at her profile, and like one of her top 3 was first place in high rocks, and I was like, that is insane.
I know, I'm like, hey, some of us can only qualify for the Olympic trials in one event, but she's just going off on these side quests. It's so awesome.
Yeah, so that was pretty sweet. But let's talk about you a little bit. So I wanted to kind of ask you and kind of go all the way back to the very beginning of your running life and your and how you got into running. So I saw that you're from Michigan originally. So how did you grow up, and how did you get into running?
Yeah, growing up, my mom, she didn't run in college, and then after college, she started running just for mental health, enjoyed it, and decided to train for a marathon, and eventually qualified for Boston and ran Boston
Wow.
way back when. Yeah. So growing up, she would go for runs and bring me along in the stroller, but it was never, you need to do track or cross country. It was just seeing how much joy it brought her was really cool. And then when I was old enough to run up and down the block, I'd do that with her. and then maybe go for a 2-mile run. And I think that was the best way to get into it because you just learned how refreshing it can be to get out the door. And that's still my favorite part of running.
Yeah. That's really cool. My mom was actually the one who got me into running as well. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so she was running. She was a runner, like track runner in high school, and then did some. She started running for her just for like mental health, and did the Boston Marathon twice. And I remember,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I remember I would like wake up at like I was always an early morning person, and I'd wake up at like 4 a.m. and she'd already be out on her long run, and then like I'd be like eating yogurt and watching TV, and then she'd come in around 6, and like we would talk about running. So that was yeah, that's kind of cool. We have that in common.
Did you ever like go on runs with her when you were younger too?
I did. So the first run, like real run that I ever did was when I was 6 years old. I ran a 5K because I played hooky from school.
That's kind of far for 6. That's impressive.
No. Yeah, I played hooky from school, and mom was doing this 5K, and I was like, "Oh, I want to come," and she was like, "You're not sick, but it's already too late to like get you back to school. So why don't you come run this with me?" And so I think I like walked it, like,
Yeah.
but had a blast as a 6-year-old, and my name made the local paper, and like,
Oh, hey, that's so sweet. So, and you live in Texas. Are you from Texas?
yeah. So I'm from Keller, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you're in Dallas, is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so kind of up in that area. My brother still lives in Fort Worth, so
Oh, wow. Well, that's nice. Finally, someone I can talk to that understands the like insane weather that Texas experiences.
it's like high humidity literally anywhere you live in Texas.
Yes, and being from Michigan, they think of Texas as the South, which it is, but to me, it's still Midwest.
Yeah,
So
it
you
kind of
get
is,
the
yeah.
wind and you get the humidity and you get all of that. To me now, South is like, I don't know, Louisiana.
Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama. And we're like the Midwest and people think it just gets hot here. I'm like, no, we get the humidity, we get the wind. It's crazy.
I saw a video you had posted. You like walked out in the wind once, and your hair was like blowing, and you're like, "Oh my god, it's so heavy." So
It's seriously, it's not even funny sometimes. Like I have been on runs. I am not that weak. Like I'm distance runner weak, but I'm not like just so weak. And I have had gusts of wind knock my foot into, do you know what I'm talking about? Into my other foot. And I almost trip and fall. It is so humbling.
yeah, I live out in now in the Texas Hill Country, and it's very hilly, and all my runs are like 600 plus feet of elevation. But there was one
Horrible.
long run where it was like 17-mile-an-hour winds, and I took a right onto a hill in a headwind, and I was just like, like
That's
I'm
the
gonna
combo
die.
for me where I'm like, it takes like 30 seconds of that where you're just like, what am I doing? Uphill into the wind. People are looking at you like you're like Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Texas. Texas is not for the faint of heart for runners.
No, no.
So going back to you, so how you got into running as a kid? So your mom kind of inspired you, it sounds like, and then did you ran obviously probably in high school? So what was high school running like?
Yeah, high school running was great for me. I had really amazing coaches. I'm really lucky to have had coaches that knew what they were doing and wanted to help me reach the success that I wanted, but not at the cost of longevity, which I feel for kids these days where all kids are super motivated and want to climb the ladder as quick as they can. But when an adult isn't holding you back, I think that can be sometimes dangerous. So I feel very fortunate that I had coaches that, yeah, we'll increase your mileage this year by 5 miles a week, but we're not going to put you at 60 miles per week or look what other athletes are doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I train mostly low mileage, in my opinion, 20 to 30 miles a week. I think I hit 40 miles a week one time my senior year, but I was running the 800 and the mile. Um, and yeah, it was a great experience. I fell in love with the team atmosphere, the girls and the boys all having their little rivalries and going on runs together, pranking each other, hiding in the woods when you didn't want to do a long run. That was just so much fun. And then started getting recruited a little bit my junior year and ended up at Oklahoma State. Sorry.
Yeah. Awesome. Oklahoma, in Oklahoma State, man, that's a big school. That's Big 12. So, was that one of your top schools, or how did you find OSU?
Yeah, it's super random, to be honest. I did a few unofficial visits my junior year because that's back when it wasn't the wild, wild west that it is now. You
No,
actually had
yeah.
to wait until your senior year.
Yeah.
And then my senior year, I did 3 official visits. I visited Michigan State, Georgetown, and Oklahoma State. And I got off the plane in Stillwater and I just fell in love with the warm weather, the team. Everyone had a very easygoing attitude, but there was also this sense of taking it very seriously when you needed to.
Yeah.
And Dave Smith just like sold me on Stillwater. I fell in love with it.
Awesome. Yeah, the running, I mean, I would say Oklahoma, like, especially in the fall, like for cross country, the running weather can get really nice there too. I ran a few runs in Oklahoma on like a trip one time, and I was like,
Okay.
weather is beautiful here.
It is, and the sunrises and sunsets are unmatched, I will say.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that because it's like flat, or is it just,
I always wonder that if it's because it's flat or if there's some weird. I have this theory that God was like, we got to give him something. So he was like, sunsets, sunrises, that's what you get.
you go. That's hilarious. I asked because I lived in San Angelo, Texas for a little bit, and that's like desert, like super
Yeah.
flat. And one time my mom and I went there for to move me like to San Angelo, and like we were sitting at our hotel and the sunset just in the window was like gorgeous. And
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess
and
there's
I was
nothing blocking it.
exactly. She was like, "It's beautiful," and I was like, "Yeah, you can literally see it all." Like
Yeah, you can see to the end of the earth.
where the end of the rainbow would be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. So, and then going into college, so like, what were kind of your thoughts and fears and expectations that you had for yourself? Jumping from high school to D1 college can get scary, can get like intense. It seems. So, what was that experience like for you?
It was a pretty easy transition for me. I think partly because I naively had set a very low bar for myself. I, in my own head, thought it was an appropriate goal to think maybe by my 5th year, if I do a 5th year, I'll be on the cross country team. And just going in with that attitude brought only positive surprises of, hey, you made the squad this year and you're going to race at Big 12s, and then that following through in the indoor season. And then outdoor season was COVID 2020, so that didn't happen. Yes, but it was a very positive experience for me because I was not in a lazy way, but I was going into it thinking, okay, I'm going to be the runt of the team, but I'll work really hard, and over 4 or 5 years I could be on the top half of the team. So it was really fun for me. Hmm. Yeah, it was, to be honest, it wasn't that bad in Oklahoma specifically. People like didn't hear that COVID happened. Like masks were like not a thing. It's such a small town too. There's this to me is like such a funny story. But the city of Stillwater in maybe May or June of 2020 announced that starting whatever day they said it, starting tomorrow at 8 a.m., we have a mask mandate for all grocery stores and restaurants and all of that stuff. And before noon that first day, they announced they were taking it away because somebody walked into Walmart, didn't have a mask, was told, hey, head back, you can come back with a mask. And they went, okay, walked out to their car, came right back in with a gun. And
Oh
yeah,
my
and we're
gosh!
just like, no. Um, so if you don't know what Stillwater, Oklahoma is like, that's kind of a good
In a nutshell.
yes. And then the mask mandate eventually uh actually came more so in the fall when all the students were coming back for classes, but it was I feel really bad saying this because it was a really horrible time for a lot of people, but COVID summer was really fun for me. My now boyfriend, who's Canadian, couldn't fly home. Or I
Oh
guess he
no.
could, but it was still like, if I go home, will I be able to come back? So I stayed in Stillwater for the summer because Michigan had locked down so horribly. And I didn't want to be just fly home and be cooped up in my room, not able to see anyone. So I stayed down in Stillwater. And when my boyfriend and a few other teammates decided to stay, it was like, okay, so now this guy I have a crush on, and all these like people are stuck here, and all we can do is run and drink beers at night. This is awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, I was like, this is my dream.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually got really fit that summer going to my sophomore year because there was nothing to do.
Yeah. Nothing to do but
Yeah.
focus on running.
Yes, which I feel like a lot of people during COVID summer had either a really positive impact on their life, whether fitness, entrepreneurship, relationships, or a really negative impact. So I was on the positive side of it, thankfully. But counteracting that was my eating disorder kind of spiraled out of control because there was really no one to keep me accountable.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be, I mean, like, isolation is tough, like, for any sort of mental health issue, like, the thing that you're struggling with, it can get pretty hard. So, yeah, I wanted to ask a little bit about your eating disorder. So, how did that kind of start, and um, what was that like? And then how did that process start, I guess?
Yeah, like I said, in high school, I was very lucky not to struggle with that at all. And I think a huge part of that was being in a very positive environment. Food was the superpower thing that you needed. It was never deemed evil or bad. So, around my indoor season of my freshman year, coming from a place of the best intentions, I think it started with me wanting to cut out dessert. Like, just very, oh, I heard some of the best runners in the NCAA don't eat a cookie and it helped them run, or just you hear these things, but no bad intentions, just, oh, you don't need sugar. I'll cut it out. And slowly started spiraling. And I remember one indoor meet, putting on my kit, and for the first time it was kind of loose, and being like, well, that's kind of weird. And then thankfully my coach pulled me aside after that meet and was like, hey, what's going on? And that's when I really had identified, oh, this is now something I feel like I'm not able to fix because I'm stuck in this cycle.
Yeah. And it's crazy how something that like that. I mean, I've never personally dealt with an eating disorder, but there are a lot of things in life that like they start out pretty harmless. Like you just want to cut out cake or like
Yeah,
cut out a
exactly.
cookie. You know what I mean? Or maybe like, oh, I don't want to drink beer or something. You know what I mean? Like it's something that is like trying to help, but then you're like, okay, but like I'm seeing weight loss, so like maybe I'll just not eat less at lunch or not eat lunch or
Yes.
something.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh no, like now we're in a problem.
Now we're in a problem, and the other thing is, in society today, you're getting complimented. You're being told you look so, oh my gosh, your cheekbones look great. What have you been doing? Wow, you must be training really hard at college, Gabby. You look so fit.
Yeah.
And I think that's extra hard. And with a lot of addictions, you can try and avoid it completely, but you can't avoid eating.
No. Yeah, it's and one of the things that you had touched on a previous podcast about the eating disorder was like some people said like, oh, it could hurt your running long term, but you were like, well, actually my running is going really well, so that doesn't make sense to me, so I guess I'll just keep going forward. So like, what were some things that people told you, and what were some things that like that you could, some, I guess, some lessons that you could give to people who might be experiencing, what they should listen to, and like clear the air a little bit, I guess.
Yes. No, that's a great question. And I'll try not to harp on, it's so easy to list off all the bad interactions you have.
Yeah.
So I'll try and talk more about the messaging I got that helped me. But I will say, for anyone that's struggling or is thinking about asking for help, shame will keep you in the worst places ever, whether it's an eating disorder, mental health, anything. When you feel ashamed about it, it's just this evil thing that will keep you not wanting to ask for help. Don't ever feel ashamed about anything you're going through. Always ask for help. So I will say that. But the messaging that helped me, which is what I try and kind of replicate, whether it's on the internet or to the people I talk to in person, is it doesn't have to affect you forever. It doesn't have to be something you fix only because there's this threat, there's impending doom of you're never going to have kids, your career is ruined, your people don't want to be around you. Instead, it's like, hey, let's talk about this like it's any other injury. Here's where we're at. Here's where we want to get to. And if you have an Achilles that's always going to bug you, but you learn how to manage that, it's actually not that bad. So this idea of false hope that you're going to switch on one day and it's never going to be an issue, I don't want to sell that. Like, oh, I'm cured, I'm healed, I never have body image issues or think about food, because everyone on earth has bad body image days or thinks about what they're eating or hears a comment that makes them overthink what they should look like or whatever. So I think it's really important to know there's a place down the road, if you ask for help now, where those thoughts are still maybe going to come in, but you're going to be so much better at deflecting them that it's like swatting a fly away. And I think I had certain people talk to me that said, hey, I really struggled post collegiately with this or in college or whatever. And it's never going to be perfect, but you can get really good at fighting that. And I think that motivated me more than anything, because it's like telling somebody, hey, you ran a 3-hour marathon. I think you could run 2:45. It's still going to be hard. Running still hurts, but I think you could get fit enough to do it. That's kind of how I think of it. And when someone tells you that, you go, yeah, I think I could do that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, like, it's like meeting someone with hope, like realism in that, like you said, like
Yes.
treat it like an injury. Like if you dislocated your knee or something, like you're gonna have knee pain going on for the rest of your life. Just like if you've had a disorder, you're gonna have issues with it and think
For
about it for the
sure.
rest of your life. But like you can manage it, and you can like.
It doesn't have to control your life anymore.
Exactly. Okay, welcome back to Through Their Stride. And we had a little bit of a hiccup from our last meeting. I think my software was out of date or something. So we got a new software and we're back now. So welcome back.
We are back. We had to take a little 3-day delay, but despite all odds.
Yeah. So we were talking back then about the eating disorder, but we pretty well covered that. And so I was just going to kind of jump back into your college and your racing. So I looked at your times previously, and you were kind of like a more. It seemed like you were like the longer distances were kind of your fancy. Would you agree?
Yeah. I definitely was surprised coming from high school how well I transitioned to the longer distances. But being more 800-mile focused in high school, I was used to doing lower mileage. And then in college, when we bumped up, I just found success pretty quickly in cross country and thought, well, this is 6K. Why not try 10K?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. I like the very patient approach. I think it transitioned me well over for the marathon as well.
Yeah, so the 6K is an interesting distance. I'm kind of new to like the college running scene. Is that a pretty normal like distance for cross country in college, or what's the I guess the specialties there?
Yeah, so I can't speak on all divisions, but for D1 I know women run 6K the entire year of cross country. I mean, you could sprinkle in a 5K, but the race distance for conference, regionals, and nationals is 6K for women. And then for men, it's kind of strange. It's 8K through conference, and then they run a regional 10K cross country race, and then nationals is a 10K as well. So, yeah. There's a big push though in recent years to have equal distance for men and women in the NCAA, because even if you go to World Cross Country, everyone runs 10K. So whether everyone runs 10K in college or 8K or whatever they decide, I do think it should be the same distance. It seems kind of outdated to me that the men and women aren't just running the same distance, but I don't know. There's definitely, I could see where you'd push back if you're a coach of a program that succeeds with middle distance women on your squad, but I'm like, come on, we gotta. It's 2026.
Yeah, it's interesting because even in high school, right? They run like a 3 mile for the men, and then it's like a 2 mile or something for the women. And I thought that was
in
yeah.
Texas, really?
Yeah, I know down where we are, because our kids are the team that I coach runs 3 miles for the men and 2 miles for the women. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know.
That's strange. In Michigan, it was all 5K. I didn't know
Really?
that. Yeah.
Maybe it's just like the division that we were in, and we're just like a 1A.
Yeah. That's so strange though, and you're not really setting up the girls as well for college then.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's odd.
I found that out last year, and I was like, this is weird. Like girls can run a 5K.
Like we're not gonna die. What?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, so that was funny. But so transitioning from college, you transitioned, it seemed like, right into the marathon. What was that like? And how did you immediately want to do a marathon? Was that kind of something that you wanted to chase, or what was that
Yeah,
transition?
so really all of my college career, I was told by people on the team or ex-teammates that were a bit older that, and my coach, that I would probably find success in the marathon beyond any other distance. But I was like, oh, I don't know. I love running so much. I loved my college experience. But when I'm done, I want to just be a normal person. I don't want to try and, especially, it's really, really tough if you have the mindset that you want to run professionally as your sole career. I think that can put a lot of stress on people. And I was
Yeah.
excited to, I love running, but I was excited to have a job and a 401k and a stable paycheck and
Health insurance.
just exactly. And to not have so much emotional tie up in if I have a bad run or if my foot starts hurting or whatever it be, that
Yeah.
it's not affecting my if I'm paying rent. That's really stressful.
Yeah.
Um, so I graduated in 2024 and I went home to Michigan for a few weeks to stay with my mom before moving back down to Dallas for my job. And I was jogging around town and my now coach, Sam Butler, saw me, or I don't know if someone saw me and he found my Instagram and reached out to me and we texted a bit and he basically said, we would love to support you as a remote athlete. You can still move to Dallas, have your job and all of that. And I said, okay, let me think about it. And after about a week, I texted and said, thank you so much. It means so much, but I think I just need, I want to step away from the sport. It's not any hard feelings towards, I hate running, but I want to say yes to happy hours and I want to be in my 20s in a city and actually get to know people and not have to leave to go double, at least for the time being. And he said, okay, well, if anything changes, you have my number. And I kind of rolled my eyes like, okay, I know what I want.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change. And then that following spring, so about 9 months later in 2025, I was listening to a podcast actually, and it was the week that the OTQ times had been announced, and the big excitement was that the women's time had not moved up from 2:37. And I just remember hearing the way these women were talking about it and how exciting it was. Not just that they knew they were going to run it, but more so what a fun journey it would be. And it unites all these women all across the country on this similar journey. And I got for the first time in 9 months, I actually got that FOMO feeling like, wait, no, wait, I want to be in that. I want to be a part of that. Uh, so I texted Sam, my now coach, and said, hey, can you call? And that kind of started the process of getting back into training and all of that.
Awesome. What do you so outside of running, what do you do for work for a living?
Yeah, I'm in tech sales, so it's a lot of AI deployments and networking services for different companies. It's interesting. I'm a year and a half in. I've learned a lot and I love the people I work with. Am I the is tech sales like my deepest passion and do I think I'll do it for the rest of my life? No, but
Yeah.
it's been really fun. I love the company. I love the people I work with. And sometimes you got to learn what you're maybe not super passionate about by doing it.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I started out as a right out of college as a breaking news reporter.
No
There
way. Wait,
yeah,
what?
yeah, for a newspaper here, a daily newspaper in West Texas in San Angelo, and I was like, man, like the grind of a breaking news reporter at a daily newspaper. I was like,
Daily? That's a
yeah,
lot.
I was like,
What do you do now?
So now I work in communications. So I
Okay.
work for so after that I worked 3.5 years at the newspaper here in Fredericksburg. And that was a weekly paper. So it was like
Okay.
the
A
vibe
little.
was a lot, yeah, smoother. So did was a reporter there for a bit, and then a managing editor, and then I'm now in communications for a electric co-op here in
Oh, that's
Atlanta.
awesome.
Yeah. So
Are you liking
um,
that?
I am. I do. I like the people that I work with. And
That's what matters the most.
yeah. What did you go to school for?
I just did business management. I have been the same way since birth, which is I don't know what I want to do. Like growing up, when people, what do you want to be when you grow up? At age 5, even when people are like, I want to be an astronaut, I was like, I don't know. It just doesn't, like, nothing
Yeah.
really fueled my fire. But I also am like, I'm down to try anything. I was just like, there's no I want to be a lawyer. I want to be in an emergency room. I want to, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like work. I love talking. I like working with people. So I'm kind of trying to shift more communications marketing route, because I
Nice.
do feel like I have that marketing brain a little more than the sales brain, which is very hi, nice to meet you. Hi, nice to meet you. And I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
I
It's intense.
can't put on the face. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, as far as like creation and marketing, like I feel like you do have that right brain.
Thank you.
Yeah, like
That's why I'm like, I keep being told that. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should seek this out.
yeah, because like your content like is so creative, and it's like sometimes I'll see it and be like, how does like even as a creator myself, like how does he come up with these like hilarious running ideas? So where does
Oh,
that
thank you.
yeah, so where does that passion for you come from to keep it light and keep it fun?
I think, I don't know if it's a coping mechanism or if it's a way of connection or a combination, but for me, humor and keeping things light is just like my reflex go-to. I
Yeah.
think in hard and really, yeah, really traumatic areas in my life, or whatever word you want to use, even in those moments, if you, obviously you're not going to crack a joke in the moment, but if you can just keep a little lightheartedness, like, well, I'm going to look back on this and laugh at the fact that, I spilled ketchup on my pants while this horrible thing was happening, or whatever it is. If you can find some sliver of humor, to me, it's hope.
Yeah.
Um, and then on the other side of that, when it's not something horrible, when it's something exciting, I think humor connects people. And I think also, specifically on social media, I don't know about you, but I open my phone and a lot of it's really negative. It's
Yeah.
the state of the world. It's someone picking on another creator. They did this. This is wrong. This is what you're doing wrong with this. And it's nice to just open something up. The best messages I ever get are the ones that are like, this just, I just laughed in the middle of my office job. I'm like, good. If that was 15 seconds of your day that you were like, this is so stupid, but like, what is she? That's all I want. Like, that connects people in a way that I think other, I don't know, that's my go-to.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think and I like the number one video that's like pinned on your
Hmm.
Instagram is like it's not that serious. And it's like I do have to remind myself of that sometimes, like when I'm like and I'm, not like elite runner fast, but like I'll try to go
Doesn't
in for
matter though. Doesn't,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
sure it doesn't, like, I'm saying this and there's some Olympian being like, well, it's not that serious for you, it's serious. Everyone loves to be like, well, I'm not that good. But no,
yeah.
it is serious. It means a lot when you're the one doing it. But
Yeah.
sometimes that's why you have to remind yourself, like, oh my gosh, it's just running.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Like you're in the outdoors, like you're doing something cool for yourself. Like it's all
Hmm.
for fun. It's all for like for yourself. So
Exactly. Are you
yeah.
training for anything right now?
So I'm training currently for a 5K. So
Oh, yay.
yeah, so my white whale has been a sub 25K. And so like I think the closest I've gotten is 2059, which was at like a turkey trot a couple years ago. And I almost got hit by a truck on that race because the roads weren't like
No.
blocked off. And it was the final stretch of the race. And I was
Oh,
like,
that is, come
like
on.
I was running and I looked down at my watch and I was like, I'm gonna freaking do it. I was like, here we go. And then this big old truck just comes through a two-way intersection, doesn't stop, and I like have to like stop on my
Yeah,
brakes and like
all your momentum's gone too.
yeah. And then I have to pick up and back. And then of course when you stop, your heart rate like it's
Everything,
all
yeah.
weird. And then my
Oh
one of
my
my friends
gosh.
who had just started running, he's like super fast, but he passed me at the last second of the finish line, and I was like,
No.
so that was brutal. And then I tried again. We have this thing in Fredericksburg during Oktoberfest called the Kraut Run, and
Okay.
they do a 5K and an 8K, and I did a 21:13 at the 5K this year, but it's like one of the hilliest routes that you can
Oh,
imagine.
dude, you're ready then.
Yeah.
You've been through the trenches. Do you have
Yeah.
a race picked out?
Yes. So I'm actually partnered with our local like gym wellness center for
Uh,
they have the wildflower run on April 25th, and it's uh
okay, coming up.
yeah, 5 and 10K. So I'm in the last like stretch of it. So
What day is that, a Saturday?
yes, and
Okay.
it's the day after I'm coaching my kids during their state qualifier meet. And so I told them on Friday, I
Are
was like,
they coming to watch?
I think some of them were going to, but I told them I was like, if one of you guys qualify for state, like I will break this 5K because I'm gonna be
Yes.
so amped up that like
Oh, that's so fun. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Yay,
So
I'll
it'll
have
be
to
fun.
check in and see how it went. That's so
Yeah.
exciting.
And you are training for something too, right? You're training for did I see grandma's? Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Grandma's June 20. And then I'll actually go back to Michigan, Grand Rapids on May 9th and run the Riverbank Run, which is the 25K. I
Okay.
think it's the US championship for that distance. But as you know, the road racing, they have US championships for like 24.3K. So
Yeah.
we'll see how popular it is. I'm excited though.
Nice. And running in Michigan like in May is probably the prettiest time to be up there.
Oh my gosh, it will be a treat to everyone's, oh, it's gonna be so humid, it's gonna be so hot. That's gonna be like the equivalent of coming down to sea level for me.
Yeah, um my wife went to they do like a what's it called? Like at their school, it's the day that they take all of their new teachers and they have an orientation and they'll go to
Okay.
different schools in their like franchise because they're a private school, and there's one up in Michigan, and they went up last year, and like the locals were like apologizing to them for how hot it's been this year. And she's like, it's like 84 degrees. Like,
That's my mom. I called my mom while I was on my run yesterday, and she's like, "Oh, you inspired me. I'm gonna go for a run right now." And I was like, "Okay." And I think maybe 4 or 5 minutes went by, and she goes, "I'm gonna turn back and go to the house just to grab a bottle of water." And I go, "How warm is it there?" She goes, "It's 60 degrees out." Oh, it's 60 degrees. And like, I won't be rude, but I'm like,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, it's toasty.
I would kill for 60
I
degrees.
know. I'm like 60 degrees. I have gloves on.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
that's like perfect running weather for me. So
oh my gosh. When people talk about, even talking about marathons where, oh, I saw it's gonna be 58 degrees at the start. I don't know. I'm thinking 58. I would not even take water. I would be
lovely.
like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, cool.
Uh,
So, and then going back to your Olympic trials race, so you had raced it with Alyssa McElheney, and you
mhm.
guys kind of trained together, like apart together. So, what
Yes.
was the training like? Did you think you would get the OTQ in your very first race, or what was that process like?
Yeah, so because when I had approached Sam, that was my main goal. I was like, okay, let's train for a year and then maybe try a marathon. And he was like, I was Indy Monumental. That's in 6 months. Wait, what? Huh? Um, but he had faith in me and he said, all right, well, let's just see how it goes. Let's do the block. And then he literally that day sent me, how do these flights look? I was like, okay, so we're doing
We're
this.
going.
This
Okay.
is exact, yeah. Um, so I was keeping that in my mind the entire block, which was good. I think it's better the whole time being like, okay, I need to get really comfortable at this 5:57 pace. And also on the days that doesn't feel comfortable in a workout, don't panic and don't freak out because as you know, some days you're just going to feel crappy.
Yeah.
So by the time we got to Indy, I was feeling pretty confident. Alyssa had run a 2:35 that spring before, but the window for OTQ wasn't open.
Hmm.
So I truly didn't know if she was wanting to go in and just pedal to the metal to PR or play it safe and run an OTQ. And we had talked the night before and kind of had this moment where we were like, do you want to run the whole thing together? And we were both like, oh, thank God, I was hoping you'd say that. So yeah, we went out with the plan to run 5:55s, which is safely under 2:37. And we ended up picking it up a little bit at the end, but nothing crazy. So our time was a few minutes quicker, but it was really, really fun having somebody, especially a teammate, the entire time.
Yeah.
She's 10 years older than me. So I just I felt like I was the passenger of this wise, like, just come with me under my wing. I got you.
Hmm.
And I don't know for her if it was helpful, like physically more so than emotionally. I think just having somebody to talk to and I don't know, bounce ideas off of like, okay, should we go up here? You grab your bottle first?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of my favorite experiences ever. And that's something I will never forget. Getting to run my first marathon ever, and not only OTQ, but to do it with somebody who has also such a unique story. I don't want to tell her whole story, but her dad passed away a few years ago.
Oh man.
And yeah, and she had so many family members there on the course and just seeing what it meant to them and what it meant to her and crossing the line and she's just breaking down in tears because of the journey she's been on. I felt to to witness and to be a part of that means so much to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, not not only did you get to OTQ in your first marathon, but it's like you got to give somebody an experience and give some
Mhm.
like help give something to somebody um who like and make it more special, So I think
Mhm.
it's one of those things like, man, like I really got to do something
Yeah,
with
that's what I'm saying. I feel like I was front row of this. Like it was already special to me and it was special to do it with her, but then in addition, I see these videos and these pictures she's posting and it's like, wow, I'm so grateful that I got to literally have a front row seat to that.
Yeah.
Such an amazing example of just, I don't know, the human spirit.
Yeah. And I've seen like some pictures and videos of it and like, y'all are like beaming with smiles like the whole way it
Uh-huh.
seemed. And like it kind of reminded me of the 2023 Olympic trials when Connor and Clayton finished together. And I was like, this is just like that. That's so cool.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a cute comparison.
Yeah. So that was neat. And but for you, so first marathon experience, what what was kind of like in your head going into the marathon? What were you kind of expecting to feel? And how did the marathon feel?
Yeah, it was thankfully I am like when I say I'm the student of the sport, I consume every podcast out there
Yeah,
with
same.
professional marathoners. Like I feel like a lot of runners are like this, where it's like you're such a nerd that you listen to the podcast of the retired professionals, of the up and comers, of the current professionals, of people who just like to talk about running. So I had all these I almost felt like I had this library of knowledge about the marathon, not in a cocky way of like, oh, I know what I'm doing, but all these little things, even within training where I would be, you're having a tough day or a tough moment. You go, well, Des Linden always says, or you just have these little snippets. Oh, well, Karen Goucher always says you got to ride the wave and blah, blah, blah. So it helped to have all this knowledge, and it felt like you get to live these experiences through other people and learn from it, which is amazing. That's also why I love podcasts. So going into it, the main thing I was telling myself, which I had heard so many times, and I had somewhat experienced just in some of my long runs and in training, is this phenomenon that the mile you're in does not determine how you're going to feel a mile from now.
No.
And you hear that and you're like, no, you'll probably, if you feel bad, you're only going to feel worse. But it is so weird how true that is, where I was in the marathon and there were certain miles very early where I was like, oh, this is like, I'm not feeling good. This isn't gonna, no way I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
And then 15 minutes later, you're, oh my gosh, I kind of want to pick it up. And you have to keep reminding yourself that. And I do think that's something I've carried with me in training too, even in workouts where you go, you're feeling good. And then you have a rep where you go, oh, I might need to really back off or shut it down.
Yeah.
And 10 minutes later, you're like, oh, wait, why? I feel good. This is so weird.
Yeah.
So that was completely accurate. Anyone who's ever said that, they are spot on, because it is the weirdest thing.
Yeah. Well, and especially in a marathon, because it's like, it's 26 hold miles. So, like, the first 3 miles of your race, you can be like, oh, I'm just groggy. Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm just still a little tired. Didn't really have enough time to wake up. But then, like, miles like 4 through 8, you're like, I'm in it now. Like, if you stick to your plan and maybe go even a little slower than your plan for those first 3 miles, you're like, okay, I'm warmed up,
Yeah.
my head's in the
Uh-huh.
game, like, and then you can take off, and then of course you're probably gonna have something like down later on, but it's ebbs and flows in a marathon. So
Yeah. It's strange. It's the strangest distance.
yeah, it's fun. I explained it to my mother-in-law. I was like, like because I ran Austin back in February, and I'm like, the Austin course is like it's so hilly, and I was like, and it's so hot a lot of times. It was hot this year, and I was like, but like with the heat and the hills and like the beauty of the day and the like, it's almost like euphoric, like nostalgia, like you know what I mean, like. And I
No,
was like,
I totally get what you're saying.
yeah, and I was like, it's almost like drugs sometimes. Like, you
It
just gotta
is
try to
and doing like these groups of people too. There's this weird, unexplainable energy
yeah,
between you and all these strangers where that's literally it. Like you'll be having moments where you're like, I want to die. I hate this so much. And then 10 minutes later, you'll turn to someone, you'll be like, how's it going? This is
yeah,
so fun.
yeah. It's a weird phenomenon. So going forward for you, you qualify for the Olympic trials, so you're probably gonna, I mean, you're definitely gonna run, I assume, in 2028. But before then, what's kind of the goals for you? Are you hoping to kind of get that time further down, and are you gonna do anything other than the marathon before then? What's kind of your on your radar?
No, that's a great question. I am a big believer of the compounding effect. So I think just the more years and marathon builds I can do healthy and in a smart way, feeling good, I don't want to put a ceiling on myself for 2028. And for me, I'm I turn 25 next week. I'm like, guys, what about 2032? Like, let's not zone in too much on, I'm pumped about 2028, but another 4 years, I just think your aerobic system can build so much, and the experiences that you get over and over, I don't want to put a ceiling on myself. So I don't have a goal time right now. Like, oh, if I can get down to 220 whatever or 2 whatever by 2028, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'm more like, let's keep building, do a marathon, keep building, do a marathon, and just see where you end up. I think that long-term compounding effect actually weirdly excites me more than anything I think I can do short term. So that's kind of a horrible answer because it doesn't really answer your question, but
No, not at all. I think, the compounding effect in running is so real. And then also like, there's all this science coming out now that like, once you get like into your 30s and like late 30s, early 40s, your aerobic system actually like continues to really peak. And so, I mean, you could be running pro marathons well into your 40s. So like,
which is like, that's so exciting to me. Like, I could never, I could never. I think it's very stressful to be a high level track athlete where you're 27 and people are like, you're gonna retire soon. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't have savings yet.
Yeah, right. And like, I compare it to like a lot of like contact sports, like basketball, football, and like once you're in your 30s in football, like
you're
you
done.
can pretty well say goodbye to the sport. Like, but then in running, you can go, I mean, distance running, you can go for a long time. So,
I'm gonna be like Joni Benoit Samuelson. I'm gonna be out there hobbling marathons when I'm 80. I know I will.
Yeah. And so going back, so why grandmas? How did you choose that race? And what were some options at that time?
Yeah, to be honest, Sam asked me about it. We did a call, I think the week after Indy, to have a little time where you can emotionally come down. Because as you know, as soon as you finish the marathon, you're like, that was so fun. No, it wasn't. Like, sometimes you need the adrenaline so high, you're like, I could do a marathon next month. I'm the best. And then a week later, when you're still like hurting to stand up, you're like, yeah, no, that was great, but yeah, we should probably.
I need a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I need a little downtime.
Yeah.
But yeah, he called and we were talking through goals and ideas for this next training block, which is I'm very grateful to have a coach that's works with me so much. What do you want to get out of this? What do you want to add? Was there anything you didn't like?
Yeah.
And I was saying one of the things that I just enjoy is a lot of weeks of high mileage. And he said, okay, well then let's maybe aim for something that's not so early, like a Boston.
Yeah.
He also said Dallas having no hills would make Boston build quite challenging.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, let's maybe think about a training camp if we ever do Boston, because there's just no hills here.
Yeah.
But he threw out grandmas and I said, sounds good to me. I've heard of it. I know it's hot and it's humid, which I love.
Yeah.
And I know that Kara Goucher is from Duluth, Minnesota, so I'm sold.
There you go. Yeah, grandma's is a bucket list one for me because I think I saw somebody run it on like Instagram one day, and then I like looked more into it. I was like, man, that course is beautiful. It's like,
gorgeous.
I love
right?
It. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna have a bad day anywhere, you at least want it to be pretty.
Yeah, for sure. So I was also gonna ask, so do you have any like marathons in the state of Texas that you would love to run or try out?
Ooh, that's a good question. See, the Austin one does intrigue me. Dallas has a marathon in December, and I watched last year. I had a few friends run it. The Dallas one, the only thing is it gets very cold, which is fine, but it can be, I don't know if they're, and this is where like the snobbiness comes out. I don't know if their elite athlete accommodations have a whole lot of, okay, like, am I going to be standing in 30 degrees for 2 hours before?
Yeah.
But no, that's a good question. I've heard good things about, really the three I've heard of are Austin, Dallas, and Houston, and I've heard great things about all of them.
Yeah.
So, have you run Houston?
I've not run Houston.
Okay.
I've run Austin and I've run Dallas. And
Okay. How'd you
yeah.
like Dallas?
Okay, I didn't like it at all. So
Okay, so I didn't want to say that. That's what I had heard. Yeah.
no offense to Dallas. Like, I was actually, as far as the day itself, it was great because that was the race where my mom qualified for Boston for the first time. And
No way.
yeah, so she joined me on at the weekend of race day, like came and, watched. And so that was like kind of nostalgic. We found a poster from 1998 or 97, I can't remember, when she qualified, and like she like posed next to it. And so
That is so special. I didn't know that.
yeah,
Wait, do you know what the time was back then?
what the qualifying time was,
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I do know that she ran it and she was 32
Okay.
and she ran it in 3:35:57, I believe.
Okay.
And that
Oh,
guy
that is so sweet. I love that.
So that was kind of fun. But as far as the race itself, it's really pretty going all the way to the lake.
The lake.
You run around the White Rock Lake, and then the bridges at the lake are really weird.
They're
So
bouncy.
they're bouncy and they don't look
Yeah.
bouncy. And then you
Yeah,
get on
no,
and
I long run there. You've already sold me on not running it because I hate that. They
and
bounce.
yeah, and they're concrete. So like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this is just a regular concrete. And then you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? So you start to kind of jumble and you're like, oh, I don't like that.
No, that's it. It reminds me of if you've ever been on a trampoline as a kid with like 10 other kids,
Yes.
where sometimes it like goes up when you're stepping and you almost fall. That's how that
Yeah.
whole thing feels.
And I think it was the third bridge that I was crossing over and I was like, I'm gonna throw up. I was like between like the dehydration,
The
like
smell, probably. I'm sure
smell.
there was.
I was using UCAN at the time and like
Okay.
thought I liked it, didn't really like it that much, and it like hurt my stomach. So that plus like the
That is
jostling, I was like, I'm gonna
horrible.
puke. I was like, this is terrible.
That sounds, honestly, I should run the course one day just to, I want to see everywhere else it goes, but that sounds horrible.
Yeah. And then as far as Austin, I actually really like Austin. I actually like how hilly it is, because the challenge is just a lot of fun. And the city is pretty. So that's my main thing. If I can give you a recommendation for a fun, like, may not be like a goal race, but just like a race to do is Marathon to Marathon, out in West Texas. So it's, yeah, I hype this race up a lot because it's like, they literally bus you out to a highway sign that says Marathon 26. And then you run from the highway sign back to this little small town. And
That's
it's,
so interesting.
yeah, it's so remote. I think there's only like 50 runners who run it. And it's like, they don't
Have
get
you
a whole
done
lot.
it?
I have. I did it. I did the
Okay.
full, in 2024. No, 2023. And really liked it. And then I did the half in 2024. And so
Okay. That's so fun. I like West Texas. I like hot, so that's
yeah,
good.
it's funny because it starts really cold, because like you're in the desert. So it's like low
Oh,
50s, like high 40s, and you're like, ooh, this is like brisk. But then like
chilly.
the sun comes up on the east on the horizon and just like bakes you the entire second half of the
Wait,
race.
this sounds like fun. I would do this for like a training day or something.
Yeah.
This sounds fun.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a fun race, it's out like Big Bend area.
Okay.
So yeah.
What
So
time of year?
it's October. So it's October,
Okay.
like typically, I believe I don't know if it's the last weekend or second to last weekend, but it's late October.
Okay, that sounds so fun.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing it again at some point. Probably not this year, but at some point. So yeah. I was gonna ask you about high mileage too. So as someone who is like pretty new to like marathon training, I've only done like a few years worth, but you do a lot of high mileage. And as far as like base building and aerobic building, what does that give you? What do you like about high mileage?
Oh, I've always loved high mileage. I part of the reason we went straight into that is because Sam trusted me. I had done enough high mileage, in my opinion, high mileage in college that I felt comfortable with it, and I wasn't someone who was super, knock on wood, injury prone due to it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I think just outside of training, I love being out there and just being out in nature. I like trying new routes, listening to podcasts, calling people.
Yeah,
My
same.
boyfriend finally just moved here from Canada, but we were doing distance for a few years. So that was, I mean, a 2 hour run is a 2 hour phone call.
There you go.
Yeah, but from the training aspect, I don't think everybody necessarily needs to do high mileage. I think you got to find what works for you, but building the aerobic base, especially when we're quote unquote a bit younger, I think is very important for marathon training.
Yeah.
I think it's also really good to just some of the longer workouts and the longer runs. I think you get to know some of those demons you're going to meet on marathon day. And
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
that's can be pretty valuable too. How do you deal with that in the moment? How do you figure out what's hurting enough that you need to back off in a workout or hurting enough that you can ride it out? I think all those things are very valuable. And then adding the compounding fatigue from the rest of the week. I don't
Yeah.
know. I do like it. I feel like it calluses my brain and my body a lot.
Yeah. And then you had also talked about, and this is kind of a selfish question for me as a new track coach. Um, and you talked about doing like relatively high mileage, and then in college or in high school, like around 50 miles a week.
Oh,
Um,
not even 50.
Not even. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what like, because you know, when I coach my track kids, we're just meeting like 3 times a week, and I'm hoping to like get them into more running and more running on their own to build that base. But why would you say it's important to run like outside of just your weekly practices?
Yeah, I think it's I so my opinion on mileage for high school versus post collegiate is pretty much flipped. I
Yeah.
think when I hear that high schoolers are doing 60 miles a week, I knew girls who were doing that in high school and they have all either quit or were injured all of college.
Yeah.
And that's it doesn't sound like the kids you're coaching are at that extreme, but yeah, if you're trying to get them to stick to 20 miles a week, but in order to do that, you need to be running outside of the 3 practices a week. I would tell
Hmm.
them, yeah, it's important to get to know your body. First of all, you said you meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just running 3 days in a row and knowing what that feels like on your body is really good because you get to be a lot more familiar with what's an injury and what's just me being tired.
Yeah.
So I think that's really specifically for high school kids. When I was running 20, 30 miles a week, it wasn't building my aerobic system to this insane capacity, but I at least got to know, okay, what's the difference between a sore muscle
Yeah.
and a muscle where something might be wrong? So
Yeah.
I think if the younger you can learn that, the better. And I do think at that age, even adding 1 or 2 days a week that you're running, your aerobic capacity goes from like here to here. Like the
Yeah.
graph is so it is like, oh, it's hard talking to kids where you're like, You're skipping over that you could drop a minute from your 5K if you ran on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, because they recover so fast. Like at that age, like
Uh-huh.
your body is always just springing back. So, and
Yeah.
then also like what you touched on, like a lot of high school sports is really just learning how to work your body, like how to use it
Exactly.
to its full capacity, what things are supposed to feel like. So yeah, I totally agree with that. It's an interesting dynamic because like you know, with a 30 some odd year old training for a marathon, they can handle the 80 to 100 something miles a week.
Uh-huh.
Whereas like a 14-year-old, I'm like, that's a lot on someone who's still growing.
Oh, no, and, like, that's why I wanted to make sure because there are a lot of kids I not a lot of kids, that sounds like I'm talking to kids all the time. There are a lot of you hear about a lot of these kids that are doing so much in high school, and they're having that immediate success, and then maybe their freshman year of college lighting the world on fire, but I do think you wanna be careful not to be doing we shouldn't be training a 15-year-old like a professional athlete.
Yeah, for sure. Well, cool. Well, a few last like rapid fire questions that I was going
Oh,
to ask you. I
I'm bad at rapid fire because I want to talk too much, but I'll try.
Yeah, so my first question is, what is your favorite training run in Dallas? Training like route.
I'll say North Haven Trail. For an easy run, I really like the North Haven Trail.
Yeah. I've been on that one a couple of times.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
It's
Uh,
nice for easy runs too because there's like every mile a light, so you have a good excuse to stop a lot too.
yeah, for sure. And then what is your favorite style of speed workout?
Ooh. Can you give me some examples? What do you mean by style?
Like interval run, tempo run, hill repeats,
Ooh.
mile repeats, whatever, comes to mind.
If we're going speed, I'd say 400 repeats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Mm-hmm. It's
400.
just one lap. It's very mentally like, okay, I can do a lap.
Yeah. I love 400 repeats. Yeah, like because like you can sprint as hard as you can for like 400 meters, and then you're like, okay, 2 minutes off, take a
Exactly.
breather, and do it again.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
my coach had me do it. It was like a ladder workout the other day, and this just made me think of it. And she had me do a mile at like 650, and then like 1200 at like 610, 800 at like six flat, and then 400 at like 554.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah, and it was fun, but it was hard. Like after the mile, I was like, "Oh, this is work." Like I was like, "I still have a lot to go."
Some of those, that's so true. Because some of those workouts where they cut down,
Yeah.
you look at it and you're like, oh, like an 800 at whatever, that'll feel easy. And by the time you get there, you're like, I'm kind of hurting.
Like, oh my God.
Like this kind of actually hard now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it was. I still had my fastest at the 400, and I was able to rip that.
Oh, nice.
But my 800 was like awful. She wanted me to do like a sub 6, and I think I ran like a 640 at that one, like per mile, because I was like, I'm so tired.
It's also something about 800 or my least favorite distance for a rep is 1200, where you're just like, you come around that second lap and you're like, oh my God, I have to go again. But you don't even get the satisfaction of it being a mile. That's the
Yeah.
worst.
See, my least favorite is a kilometer, 1,000 meters, because it's like
Okay.
if you're doing it on a track, you know that 2 laps is half a mile. You know
And
that
then
3 laps.
that's so true. Then you
But
have to
then it's
go.
like you're like halfway through a lap and you're like done and you're like, okay. It's just hard
Also,
to do
if
them
if
mentally
there's
now.
yeah, also if there's people walking around, it looks like you quit halfway and you're
It
like,
looks
no,
like
that was where I had to stop.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then what if you had to give advice for anyone as to why they should go for a run today, what would you say?
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. I would say connecting with nature and being in the outdoors is always good for you. If you need to go slow, but being outside is just the best.
Yeah. Awesome. And then my
Yeah.
last question is, if you could recommend any runner in Texas to be on the pod, who would you recommend?
Ooh, in Texas. Oh my goodness, let me think. I'll say does it count if they're not physically in Texas right now?
Yeah, that counts.
I would say my old teammate from Oklahoma State, Ryan Shoppy.
Okay, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's from LaPorte, like Houston area.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's Texas, so that's who
Awesome.
I would say.
I will reach out, Ryan, if you're listening to this. I will be reaching out soon. So awesome. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for this, and thank you for being willing to come for a part 2 or a second half after the technical
Yes.
difficulties.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.